Business cards are great, but let's keep extending this brand further now that the client is starting to approve some items. So we are now going to create a letterhead. So I'm just going to go to File, and we're going to do an 11 by 8.5. We're going to do a vertical orientation, so 8.5 by 11. And we do want to have bleed on letterheads as well. And let's just make sure it's in print color mode. And that's it. Click OK. We have our 1/8 inch bleed all the way around. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm just pasting. This is exactly how I do branding projects, is I take one completed branded project, and now I can have all these elements to work into the letterhead. So it makes it a lot quicker. So for letterhead, I think this horizontal logo will look a lot better on a letterhead. So this is why we have a horizontal logo and a vertical. And we could take some of the same information, and there's a couple of different layouts we can try for letterhead. We can make sure all of that is aligned nicely. So we want to make sure that this element, since they're so close in alignment, let's just make sure they all line up nice. So selecting them all, it's going up to my alignment options and just doing a left alignment. Just little small things we can do. And so I'm also checking my font size to make sure it's nice. And I'm always checking font sizes to make sure they're going to be readable. I try not to have anything lower than 7, so that's going to be acceptable. And we can have it over here on the right and see how I have my smart guides on, so it's helping click it so that that top is aligned to the top of the malleable. I can drag it over here. I mean, there's so many different ways to align for letterhead. What I like to do with letterhead is you want letterheads to be very practical. So you want to have nice tight spacing here. You want to leave as much room here for a letter, because that's what we don't want to ever limit our clients to how much they can write, because we decided we wanted to put the type like right here. And well, then you're cutting the amount of usability, the usability of your letterhead. We can also put this in kind of a dark color. We can even take, we can make this dynamic and add a little angle to it. We can highlight, I just created a simple rectangle tool. I can take the direct selection tool. I can select this little anchor point, and I'm just selecting it once. I'm just going to add a little bit of a dynamic angle to our shape. I can right click, arrange. I'm going to send this backwards in the layering system. I could take everything that I have and maybe deselect my little gold box to select all my type and just make it white. So that is another option. We can push this up a little bit. We got to add bleed anyway. So we got to extend this out to the bleed at some point. And we could change the angle of this too. We don't have to have it be as dramatic. We can just make little small adjustments and changes. Every time I do this, it looks different. I've done this project a couple of times with students. Tried to keep it updated. I did this originally 2 years ago and came up with something that looked a little different. And she may not need to have her name on the letterhead. It could just be, you know, these are when you just need to go to the client and say, what exactly do you need on the letterhead before I start to do the layout, so I know how to best work in all the vital elements. It could be there's another arrangement we can try. And that is keeping this how it is, maybe reverse the angle here. Just have this be kind of a masthead or a top. And we can arrange this and group these together into a couple of different columns. We can have a 3-column layout. We could even take this and just holding down Shift and getting a 90-degree angle. And I'm going to duplicate it, just drag, and I'm just going to make 2 kind of dividing points to divide the 3 different columns. And you can have it along the bottom. And this is very efficient because it saves room, and you have lots of great space for the client to be able to put their letter. And we can even do all of these center alignment. And center alignment is going to be good because it's in 3 separate little columns, and they're very short columns. So the center alignment might look a little better. And at any time you can toggle on those guides and the grids, and you can line things up to the grid. Make sure you have similar spacing between the elements. So just don't forget to toggle on the grid when it comes to layout. It's not a rule. It's a guide. It's not a rule, but a guide. We can position our logo. Make sure it's not too close to the edge right here or the edge up here. Nice breathing room. It's not going to be too close to any edge, even this one. And so that's an option. You got a lot of different layout options. You can even bring in. It's going to duplicate our object here, our main symbol. We can make this bigger and make it reduce the transparency of this. We can make it maybe a neutral gray and just reducing that down all the way. We can even do a watermark. Just make sure your watermark is not so strong that you can't read the type that goes on top. So that's really important to keep in mind. We can have it go off the page like this. We can have it go, I don't want to get rid of it's nice and clean down there, lots of type. So I'm going to put this into the back and see if we can't, have elements here. But I think this nice center alignment works the best. So just was trying to test out some things. So I'm going to save this as a letterhead, send it off to the client, see what they think. And if I'm ready for print, we go through the same process. Everything is extended out to the bleed. That's great. We want to select all. We want to go to type and create outlines. So all of the type is outlined. And then I'll be ready to do a simple save as PDF. And this will be print. This is for the printer. And we already have our preset saved. I think I set it my print files. So I don't have to go through and make sure that the marks and trim marks are on. It's already there. Save PDF, and I have my PDF ready to go. Let's take a look at it. There is our PDF. Right there. Yay, look at that. And then if I want to show it off to the client, there's mock-ups that we can find in Photoshop. Put it on a nice mock-up to present it. You can also just save this as a JPEG. So instead of a save as, I'm going to do an export. Anytime I'm going to just send a quick image to a client, it's file export as. And this will be it's a different way to kind of send PNGs and JPEGs. So I just do a JPEG. I make sure I click on the use artboards so it doesn't give you a big document file. It's going to crop it down to the artboard for you. And anytime I send out to a client via email or some digital way and it's not going to be actually sent to a printer, I always make sure it's an RGB. So there's just a whole lot more to talk about. We have a business card, we have a logo, we have a letterhead. We have some kind of really basic branded items that we can present to the client as a brand package. And this is the point where they go, great, I got the basics. I really need you to hire you to create a social media campaign. I need you to do a product design. I need you to do all these different design work. And this is when some of those long-term clients are really awesome because they're going to continue to send you work. Most companies need a whole wide variety of designed items, both digital and also print. And I have a lot of great intermediate lessons in other courses like the Digital Design Masterclass, where we focus on digital projects like a website, but we also do a social media campaign. I have another brand development course where we take a brand just like this. We even have gold in it. And we do a little package design. And we talk about package design and how to present it and how to do posters. There's just so much more to this, but this is just an introductory section. I wanted to go over the basics of logo design. I went a lot further than I planned, but I wanted to kind of answer all those student questions I've gotten over the years. I wanted to address all those in this newly filmed section. So hopefully you've enjoyed the updated lessons. I continually like to update my content. Let me know what you'd like to see updated and what you'd like to learn more about. I'm always willing to add more.